Hi, Francella. Thank you so much for being on the channel today.
And thank you so much for having me. It's a really exciting day. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and you traveled all the way from what, Yokohama?
Yeah, definitely. It takes like about 28 minutes because the Toyota line, yeah, so from Yokohama to here.
What is it like living in Yokohama?
Yokohama, as you know, it's the second city with a lot of people. It's crowded, so Yokohama is a vibe by itself. I like it. I've been there for 8 whole years, and I've just decided to explore everywhere.
Well, we're exploring Daikanyama this morning.
Yeah.
What's one word that you would use to describe your journey?
You're in Japan. Uniqueness.
Uniqueness.
Yes,
Ah,
that would be the word.
Why uniqueness?
Because newness is something that I crave, and in Japan, you would never get tired of anything because there's always something to explore. The place is so huge. Tokyo alone have like 13.5 million people, so the place is big. So there's always something new to explore. So I really like that.
Okay. Was Japan somewhere that you always wanted to visit?
Good question. No, Japan was never on my list. If it had been, maybe when I was in university, I would have studied Japanese instead of doing golfing as an elective. So, yeah, Japan just came into my life like that, and I do appreciate that. Yeah, I like it.
Okay. So, why did you finally decide to travel to Japan, and how did you get here?
My best friend from school was living here already in Sendai, and my cousin was also living in Kyoto, one of the other iconic places here in Japan. And they were the ones who were like, girl, do you want to make some money? Do you want to pay off your student loan? Do you want to really travel outside of Jamaica? Then I think you should come here. So I just followed their footsteps.
Okay, so it was actually your friend and your cousin who encouraged you.
Yeah.
So what were the preparations like? What you did before you came?
Well, you know how the long process is. You go online, you apply through the companies. I actually went through Interact, so I had to be doing a lot of paperwork for that. But in terms of packing up my stuff to come here, I didn't bring a lot of things, but I brought a lot of food and spices. Because, girl, Jamaicans love food that actually tastes really good, and because I wasn't sure of what was happening over here in Asia, in the Asian Pacific, I was like, okay, let's bring spices, spice bun, ackee, saltfish.
You brought saltfish with you?
I brought saltfish. I brought banana chips.
You're so much better than me. My thing, I brought nothing, no food, not even a pack of tough crackers.
Wow, I brought all of that.
Yeah, because in my mind, I was thinking to myself, okay, I have had Jamaican food all of my life. So I just wanted to try new things. But girl, when I got here, I realized the value of a bottle of browning. And some allspice seasoning, some Maggie seasoning, right?
Yes.
So you packed up your food and you came.
Yes, definitely.
You remember the first day when you arrived in Japan?
I do. Yes, I do.
What was it?
Before that, when I was on the plane, that's when it hit me. Like, I'm actually leaving Jamaica to go to a different country, and I'm gonna be there for a while. And at that point, I was wondering to myself, like, am I making the right decision, or should I just go back, jump off the plane? Which couldn't happen, of course. But I got here, and when I got here on March 18th, 2012, it was super cold.
It was super cold.
Very cold. We went to the Tokyo site that we were having training, and we met a lot of people. That was fun because I met a lot of other Jamaicans and other people, but it was really cold. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, everybody when they talk about their journey moving to Japan and they recount their experience, one thing they always talk about is culture shock.
Yeah.
Did you experience any of that?
A few.
How
Of
so?
course, a few. I mean, one day, let me tell you this story about how I went to pee one day, and when I pushed the door open, it was a toilet that I've never seen in my life. It was one of those squat toilets.
Oh, the one that's very low.
Yes, and you have to squat over it and do your thing, and get out of there really quickly. But like, I was so shocked that okay, this country actually have those. But they do have regular ones, of course, with washlets and all kinds of functions.
Yes.
But the squat one was what got me. So that was the first one for me. The second thing is like when I started working here, the work culture is one that makes you feel like you need to be at work all the time. This is your home. This is not your workplace. This is your home. And you have to be here whether you're sick or whether you're not feeling 100%, you still have to show up. So I was wondering about that. And it was kind of a little bit shocking for me. Like, okay, you're not feeling good, you take the day off.
Right.
But these persons, they're just always here showing up every day, sick or not, and the teamwork is something else. If you see like police on the streets, you're not gonna see one. It's gonna be like 5 or 6. It's always a team of people working together. So that also was one of the culture shocks for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. So it's been 8 years. What would
Yes.
you say is one of the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome?
Challenges, that is a good question. Because the thing is, and I think everybody experiences this, if you're here and you are not surrounded by a community all the time, then you will get lonely. And getting lonely means that you are spending a lot more time with yourself. Sometimes you can use that period to like develop your personal skills or just get to know yourself a little bit better. But sometimes you crave to be around other people.
Right.
And that is sometimes not possible because of the work schedule. Everybody's always busy. And yeah, you have to surround yourself with people who have like the same set of values that you have in order for you to have a really good time. So yeah, that was one of the major challenges for
Finding
me.
the right people to hang
Yeah.
out with.
Yeah.
How has it been making Japanese friends?
Ooh, it hasn't been good. Let me just put it like that. It
Nande?
hasn't been
Why?
good. It hasn't been good because I think the culture because of the culture, it's very difficult for us to communicate, for us to hang out, and you find that other people have stories where persons have ghosted them.
Right.
So those things do happen. I do have a few Japanese friends who I developed at work through work relations, and those friends are okay. But the ones that you will meet on the street, in the train, and online or some apps or something, those are the ones that are difficult to cultivate. So I hadn't had any luck with any of those.
It just stress the relationship perhaps gets too stressful and then somebody just stops communicating.
Yes.
Right? So I see on the table we have Cella Art Candles, which is
Yes.
something that I want us to talk about because this is your baby, this is your brand
It is.
that you have developed and that you
Yeah.
know have as a business in Japan.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that and how that came about.
Well, to be honest, this came about through a sad kind of story. So I want to take a moment to tell you about the day that I almost died here in Japan. Yes, and I said died because I was going through what you would call a wilderness, a dark moment that lasted for about 5 months. And during that time, I was questioning a lot of things. I was questioning my existence, my purpose. What is it that I'm here on the earth to fulfill? And in that time, I went to one of my friend's house and she had candles in her apartment. Bath and Body Works, of course. And they smell so good. I mean, I suppose you've probably tried their products before. And yes, it smells so good, the pumpkin ones. And I started buying Bath and Body Works candles, but you know, the shipping, international shipping is not as inexpensive as you would want it to be. So I decided to just buy a couple of times and try them and just have a few at home for whenever they run out. Now, one of my cousins had died during that time as well, so it was really a strain for me. My personal life, social life, everything was just going down the drain. So I decided to go to Maldives, take some time off, chill by myself. It was a solo trip. and I tried to have a little bit of fun and try to get my mind off of it, but it was not going away. Like every day I wake up, I was feeling a little bit sad. So I was like, okay, light a candle. The candle makes you feel good. So why don't you try to make these candles? So when I thought about it, and like I knew that the career that I'm doing, I'm teaching English, that might be beneficial and have some credits to it. But when you actually create something from your own passion, and when you put all your work and your energy into something like that, then it brings about a greater kind of feel for me, because the value that I get from looking at these candles, making them, and giving them to persons to bless their home or whatever they want to do with it. Yeah, I feel good to know that I can actually help somebody else, because yeah, aromatherapy is one of those things for mental health.
True,
Yes.
very true. And I can see how that ties in and how it's fitting.
Yeah.
So you said that the candles came out of a dark period.
Yes.
And now I'm feeling all intellectual, because I'm like, it's light. You have created light, right?
Yes.
Something that can be lit. So I can see how that would certainly bring some spark and some energy into your life. You spoke about that dark period of depression. That's something that many foreigners go through. And we don't even have to get into it, but what would you say are some tips to handling depression while living abroad?
So what I did was I went ahead and I got another job, because I wanted to fill my spare time with some things that were meaningful and would just get my mind off the situation at that time. And I started working, started making the candles. I didn't go out that much. I do have music on my phone, but recently I've decided to just delete most of them. I only have like a few songs on my phone that I listen to. I meditate, because meditation is one of those things that would help you to curb mind wandering and just bring you back to a space that you can actually relax and focus on what you're supposed to be doing. Like my purpose that I'm here to fulfill needs to be fulfilled. And if persons are out there watching and waiting for me to show up, then I have to show up. So I do meditation, and I also do what you would call support situations. Yeah, the support situation just has me doing things like rolling up my fur carpet instead of just coming home and just sitting on the carpet doing nothing. I just roll out my yoga mat instead and I start to exercise, because everything is in the space that it needs to be. I can see my vision board, I can see my yoga mat. I know I need to exercise. I can see my journal that I write down my gratitude letters, I send them to friends, I talk about something exciting that has happened in my life, so sharing with other people positive things. So those are the things that I do. I would love to go and sit and talk with somebody about how I'm feeling, but like I said, not all the time that works out. So I have to develop some other sort of mechanism for myself.
To cope.
Yes,
And,
definitely.
and all of those things would help to make you feel empowered.
Yeah,
Even in a season of aloneness.
that's right.
If someone wants to get in contact with you to
Yeah.
purchase one of your lovely candles, how can they do so?
So I would like you guys to go over to Cella Art Co page on Instagram. It's at Cella Art Co, CellaArtCo, and you can just DM me a message, tell me what candles you'd like, and I will take it from there. You can
Okay.
also go on my Facebook if you'd like. The name of the page is Cella Art Candles. You can find it on Facebook, and you can message me from Facebook as well.
Are candles only available in Japan, or are they available for shipping in other parts of the world?
They are available for shipping in other parts of the world. However, because of the current situation, the post office has not really lifted their borders. Their what?
The restrictions.
Yes, that's the word. They haven't lifted their restrictions as yet, so I can't send them to other parts of the world.
Cella, it's been so great speaking with you. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us today on the channel.
Yes, no problem. Thank you too.
And enjoy your time in Tokyo.
I will definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.